Welcome to Manifesting with Meg, Conversations with Extraordinary People, Season 8. Stay, enjoy. Welcome to the show, Tania. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here, Meg.
This wonderful woman, Tania Kazi. Let me give you a little background as to who she is, and then away we go to this wonderful show. She began her yoga journey in 2008 in the wake of losing her father after his long and difficult battle with cancer. As an immigrant navigating profound grief, cultural shifts, and the emotional weight of dissolving marriage, she turned to yoga as a path to healing. Her passion for understanding human behavior began early. She studied behavioral psychology and later completed her undergraduate studies in positive psychology under the renowned expert Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar. This academic grounding, combined with her lived experience, drew her deeply into the mind-body connection. She went on to earn advanced certifications in both yoga and meditation, completing 500 hours training in each. For over 15 years, she's guided packed studios of stressed out New Yorkers toward inner calm, taught meditation and healing workshops, and led soulful global retreats. Now, she's also a master in happiness studies. The program is amazing. She's expanding her impact and deepening her mission to help others live radiant, connected lives. Love this. Fun facts about her. She's a former TV news anchor, which hopefully we'll talk a little bit about that. She hosted a children's television show at the age of 13, and she is a devoted student of Sufism, studying under a master teacher in Istanbul. Your mission, Tanya's mission, to help you remember the most radiant version of yourself and live from that place. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do think that connections are absolutely amazing if you're paying attention. And certainly you always get curious around those wonderful synchronicities. Something beautiful always is waiting to happen.
Thank you so much, Meg. It was so inspiring to connect with you when we were in Mexico City together, per chance. At the end of my talk, I end up sitting next to you. And then what ensued was a deep and really heartfelt conversation. And I think it's those moments of vulnerability, beauty, and love that kind of connection that we live for, that gives us so much. It gives us so much juice, so much joy to carry on. It gives us all the energy we need to live our demanding lives. So I do thank you for that connection so much.
Those people that show up in your lives that give you that hit that you need when you feel perhaps like you're a little lost or maybe you're stumbling. And this theme today is just perfect for you. It's all part of your amazing dance. And, you know, before we even get into that, you talked about learning to dance with your life again at the HSA conference. Tell me, how does that like hit you?
Oh my God, when I saw your May intention and I thought about the circumstances under which we met and the talk that I produced for HSA, which was about dancing with life, I thought to myself, this is serendipitous.
It is totally.
As our connection always has been, I
Yeah,
feel, right?
so true, so true.
And it just, it just highlights the fact that we're all going to be subject to challenging times in our lives over and over again. And yes, those times help us grow. They teach us so much, but they're so difficult to live through when we're in the thick of it. But sometimes, I don't know if we have any choice, right? We have to live through those times. And then when we look back, we're like, wow, I may have stumbled, I may have even fallen, but somehow I managed to find my feet at some point and maybe even dance not too poorly after all, right?
The quote today is from Susie Toronto. She's an illustrator and creator of the label Wonderful Wacky Women. Another little synchronicity. And it's when you stumble, make it part of the dance. And, you know, I think it's so funny because everybody tries to be perfect in how their creative life unfolds. And it's really those imperfections that make it even that more colorful and creative and wacky, you know, for sure.
Messy, so messy.
I just like find the mess in your message and embrace it and enjoy it and celebrate it. And, you know, the key to bliss here is to choose to experience days filled with love, light, and happiness to celebrate. And I want to pull up the photo of you actually at HSA, because even that was a story of they threw you on stage. They threw you on stage.
I wasn't even scheduled to go on at that time. I was going to be much later, but then something shifted at the last minute and they said, "It's you next." And I was like, how interesting, there I was going to talk about dancing with life, and when life throws you
Yeah.
curveballs, that somehow you have to find your feet, even if everything seems slippery and confusing and blurry, but you have to find, and it happened just in that moment. The universe was like, okay, let's just put it to test, because there are no rehearsals in life.
No. Is
There
that
is no backstage. We're always on the stage. We're always ready to go, you know? So it
yeah.
was interesting. It was interesting to just be in that energy and just have to laugh and make mistakes and fumble through it. But that's how we do it, right?
I really thought it was so beautiful that a lot of people, when things go wrong, everything falls apart, they just don't show up. They're like, I'm done. I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. But then when you're wondering, like, okay, like you say, I'd like to be in the moment, be present there. And because of all of your training with presence, with meditation, with breath, it made what came from you so much more powerful. Like you said, that vulnerable space. And it came out that way. I saw the room come alive differently. And it was really quite beautiful. There's you and this bright light coming from you. Did you experience something to that effect as you were presenting that day?
Meg, I definitely felt a lot of resonance. And I've never really spoken in front of a big crowd, but somewhere, when you're speaking your truth,
Yeah.
I think the goddess speaks through you, or the universe is like holding your back, has got its hand on your spine, and it's like, I got you, you're fine. I made eye contact with so many people, and I felt such a resonance with everyone. And I felt we were all in the same place, because I think that our humanness
Mm.
is so deeply woven into our vulnerability. When are we really prepared for
Yeah.
life?
Yeah.
We're feeling this.
That's a great question. When are you really prepared for life, right?
When is it ever a good time?
Exactly.
It's always, here it is, and now go. And I just felt like to just show up with the things that you know, and then being honest about the things that you don't know.
Mhm.
That just becomes such a it becomes a glue. It's a place where you can connect with everyone's fragility and vulnerability. We're all human. We're all in this together. We're all just fumbling through the dark, and as Ram Dass said, we're all just guiding each other home.
You can tell you were having a conversation, but it was through the telling of your story, because you really bring people in and welcome them, and you don't feel separate. You feel that interconnectedness, that whole part of the group energy there. There's always that wake up moment in life where, okay, it like shifts you, because maybe you're doing something good. Yeah. But then you think about, oh my God, life is not infinite. I mean, we are infinite source, but we're not it's a finite time we get to be here. Tell me a little bit about how that has guided you to the work that you do today.
Well, I think even part of my ability to speak to everyone like we're all one big family, and you're as much a part of my heart as I am a part of this time and space that we're sharing together. I think this also has to do with the fact that I was 13 years old, and my late father insisted that I should go and give an audition for a children's program and be an anchor, an MC on it, and I was so resistant to it. But at a very young age, to be thrown in front of a live audience on stage, I think it helped me find that ability within me to connect with people on a human level. And that's been a gift I value and cherish deeply. But yes, my personal healing journey, to answer your question, started with my father's illness and his passing. It's interesting when at a young age you lose a stalwart in your life, a pillar,
Yeah.
and someone you depend on. Suddenly you feel like you're out at sea. The ocean is bottomless. You have no anchor. You have no safety vest,
Yeah.
and the storms are huge, and you don't know your head from your feet, and somehow you just have to make your way. What I do feel very blessed about is that I got very lucky, and I came across teachers that really carried me and they really held me. I was desperately seeking for answers. And somehow, the first thing we do is we're searching for God, a lot of us, right?
We are.
I'm looking for that higher energy that can answer my questions. And why did my dad have to get sick? And why did he have to die? And why did all this? But in my personal experience and opinion, the God that is taught, we learn about in schools and churches and in religious institutions is not a God I could resonate with, to be honest. I have deep respect for people who find comfort in dogma or in those kinds of principles, but it didn't work for me. I had to really go inward, and I had to find my God in my heart, not in a church, not in a temple, not in a mosque. It wasn't gonna satisfy my thirst.
Yeah.
And it was that search for some meaning because I loved someone so deeply and so dearly. How could I possibly lose someone I loved so much?
Mhm.
And it taught me at a young age that everything is ephemeral.
Yeah.
We're only here, we're just visitors.
We talk a lot about when do you actually start remembering how to be intentional in our daily practice, in our daily lives. I won't say that I was a very intentional teenager. I wanted to be with my friends, play, but you were very intentional.
Not really. I'll be honest, it took a while. I was fumbling, I was lost. I was looking for answers. I was making my mistakes. I was crashing against walls. It actually came much later. At 18, I was 18 when my father passed. At 13, I was thrown in front of the public eye and, try and navigate this. And you won't have a script, but you'll have to talk to a lot of different people. After my father passed, I think it took me a long time, Meg. It took me a long time to understand what intentionality was also. I felt like I was so purposeless. I didn't understand. I lost my anchor. I was looking for answers and I wasn't finding them in the traditional places. So it took a while. And even now, it's a practice. Even now, after knowing and having read all the books, it's a daily reminder in every breath. No, no, no. What is it you want from this day? To check myself, to hold myself, and to say, okay, don't let this conversation go south, or don't let it just, be intentional, be purposeful, be kind, be full of love, and arrive from that place, start from that place, So it's a constant reminder.
So if we show up as aligned to who we are, it makes the dance that more beautiful because it comes directly from you. You are about to launch a beautiful program called SPIRE Yoga, and I'm going to show it in the stream. It is with your professor, Tal Ben Shahar, and about living happier and pain-free.
But I met Tal when I was studying positive psychology in my undergraduate years, and at the end of studying the science of happiness, positive psychology, which was different than behavioral psychology. I have 2 bachelor's degrees, and I did my first bachelor's degree in Pakistan. I studied economics and psychology, and we were focused on problems in human behavior.
Okay.
What I loved about positive psychology was we moved from problems and we started highlighting what is working in you, right? What's good, what's juicy, what's already in place, what's going strong for you. Let's highlight that so that we can expand on that.
Yeah.
And I love that so much. At the end of my studies with him, he was at the time exploring embodiment himself, I believe.
Yeah.
And, studying in an academic institute, it's all very mental. We're all up here. It's a lot of research papers and a lot of writing papers. But he actually suggested that, why don't you consider doing a yoga teacher training? And then later, my mom suggested the same thing as well. And I figured I was going through a hard time in life. And I said, you know what? Everybody seems to think yoga is a good medicine. So maybe I'll give it a shot. I'll go take a class. And then that started that journey. I just got very lucky. I found an incredible teacher. And I felt such a difference in my nervous system after the very first class that I had no intention of teaching. I had no intention of making yoga a career. But I walked up to him and I said, what did you just do? There was some magic. Yeah. And I need that magic. I need to know what that was. And I started studying it, and it started a 15-year journey of studying and gaining certifications and then starting to teach. And then Tal got in touch more recently and said, listen, we've been doing positive psychology, we're teaching the science of happiness, and it only makes sense that we bring that science from mind, from scientific evidence into embodied experience.
Yeah.
And then we were like, yes, this is a program that was meant to be created. It was meant to happen. And we put our heads together and we created it. And we're launching our first cohort, the 200-hour teacher training. It's Yoga Alliance certified. And the anatomy is very different than any anatomy I have studied in any of my yoga teacher trainings. The anatomy is all about balancing the body. And we are working with a neuroanatomist
Yes.
who has created that part of the curriculum. And it's not Olympian yoga. I like to say it's very restorative.
Yeah.
And it's actually created to prevent pain in the body out in the future. So to create a pain-free body.
So, and I love the word restorative right now. I think it's like, it's super speaking to me. So I will be doing it. I'm very excited about it. I have no business teaching it, but I will definitely embrace it and just take in all of the juicy gems that I know that are going to be coming at me for sure, because it's like the triple threat here of restoration. Yeah, no, my gosh, it's amazing.
Never say never, because that's how I started. I'm like, I need this for my body. Little did I know that in a few years I'm going to be bringing it to Studios Full in New York City. So you never know where life takes you.
I have this beautiful picture at the show of you actually in your pose, this wonderful smile that you have. And for those of you on the podcast world, just take a sneak peek at the YouTube, because she has a beautiful welcoming smile. And I think that is literally the first invitation to be in your body in a different way, because you're welcoming people to that place where maybe they are afraid to go. I think some people are, some people might be.
And legitimately so, right? Because when we're going to go inside, we're going to encounter all the things that we've been ignoring.
Yes.
And all those voices that we really, it takes a lot to face them, but you're not going to be alone in this journey. And we can't do it alone. No. We need our soul tribe.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite right there. We need our soul tribe. I'm always looking for more members. And it's interesting. I was recently looking at my own TED Talk, and it said, wake up. And the 3 components is belief in self, but align with mentors and guides that speak to those things that you're truly passionate about. And then obviously the end is gratitude, your BAG. And I think that you will be very grateful. A link, but can you share with us where they could go to find this information and that they could sign up?
Absolutely. So the website is happinessstudies.academy. And if you go under the program tab, you'll find SPIRE Yoga. And why is it SPIRE and not INSPIRE? Somebody asked me. But SPIRE is a term that was coined in positive psychology, and it stands for spiritual, physical, I for intellectual, R for relational, and E for emotional. All the aspects of our human existence. We've combined all of that. There's happiness studies, the science of happiness studies, which is part of the curriculum. There's the neuroanatomy, which is all about balancing and living a pain-free life, and the history and the philosophy of ancient yoga wisdom that has lasted the test of time. It's like, what, a 5,000-year-old science now?
Yeah, so they did something right for all those years. And, tell me a little bit about neuroanatomy, because I know people might be like, what is that? This just seems like...
Well, the neuro part comes from the happiness studies. Literature and the stuff that we're going to learn through Dr. Tal Ben Shahar. The anatomy that we are studying, which is by Lee Alberts, who is known as the magician at Kripalu. Kripalu is a institute in the Berkshires in Massachusetts, which is it's a place for healing, for yoga, for rest and recreation, for also a lot of personal, emotional, evolution, development courses, workshops. He discovered the science of, actually, he says 80% of the pain in your body is not because you're getting older. It's because of muscle imbalance. habits. The body gets used to sitting in a certain way, being a certain way over the years. And now with our devices, we're kind of crouched over a lot more, or even when we're driving our cars.
Yeah.
And all that's happening is that certain muscles have gotten elongated over time and others have gotten contracted. And the compensation that the contracted muscles are making is what's causing the pain in the body.
Mm.
So, what we're doing is at a very systemic level, we're trying to balance the body through this restorative practice so that you may never experience pain in your life in your 70s, 80s, 90s, and however far you go in this journey. But it's a preventative form of balancing the body. That's the anatomy that we're teaching in SPIRE.
That's beautiful. And with this trifecta, you bring the divine feminine into the picture. I mean, as far as your offering, what is it your intention?
So the intention, God, it's so loaded. When I think about the intention, SPIRE Yoga is really bring deep healing. But the pain that we're feeling in our bodies, Meg, so much of it, most of it has to do with emotional pain.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it has to do with heartbreak, with trauma, with feelings of abandonment, with feelings of exile, feeling outside, feeling like a misfit, feeling a sense of loneliness, a sense of aloneness. All those things somehow find a home in our bodies, right? Because nothing is separate.
No, it's so true. Yeah.
What's happening in the emotions and in the mind is going to show up in the body sooner or later. So what we're doing is we're catering to the body. We're physically bringing the body into alignment, but also through happiness, the science of happiness studies, we're rewiring the brain so that we know that the brain is neuroplastic. We know that we can change the neural pathways in the brain just by inculcating certain habits that can transform your entire personality.
Amazing.
And the ancient wisdom of yoga is this tried and tested method over the years that shows that if you show up for yourself, if you activate a certain amount of discipline, and ultimately, when I think of discipline, it sounds like such a harsh word to me sometimes, but it's really self-love.
It's self-love. I agree with you. I agree with you.
It's just, let's love ourselves a little bit more deeply, because whatever if we're harsh on ourselves, if we're hard on ourselves about something we did or something we said, or I'm not good enough, or all that narrative that so many of us have inside, how about we just breathe a little and we pause and we say, you know what? It's okay. We did the best that we could with what we knew at the time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of forgiveness. There's a lot of gratitude. There's a lot of love.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think the intention with this offering is to soften, is to be kinder, is to heal, is to find yourself in the noise.
Yeah.
And connect with yourself and align with yourself at that deep level. Because when you're aligned like that, you're a force to reckon with.
I have to say that one of my favorite things about you is that you're a force to be reckoned with. And I love that you just said that, because it's true. And I always ask my guests to share something inspirational that guides them. And of course, you give me the butterfly. So I know, I was like, okay, I love this. So the butterfly counts not months, but moments, and has time enough. Wow. What does this say to you?
Oh my God. It's if ever there was a mantra for life, really, it is the moments, isn't it?
It's the moments.
It is just, it's these fractals, these little tiny, inhales and exhales, and these sometimes silent connections, sometimes these powerful connections. But these are the things, the pieces, the moments, the breaths that create, that contribute to the kaleidoscope.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Of your life. And the more beauty we show up with, and the more tenderness we show up with, the more brilliant our kaleidoscope is.
Oh, it's so lovely. We don't tend to be tender in our lives a lot of times. And you just said was amazing. It's kind of like the effortless flow of life. When you become tender and actually just decide to flow with it all, then what emanates from you is so different. And you feel it even when you're when you're in connection with other people. It's very different I'll go back to the dance since that's the theme we have today. It's a different dance.
Absolutely.
It's
And
powerful.
And I find that the way we are schooled, the
Mm,
way that we are raised, it seems to be that we're always prepared for some kind of combat, some
so
kind of
true.
a fight. Whereas when we let go and we drop the weapons, as it were, and we just rest our bones, there is an effortlessness, there is an ease that comes through us. It is as if we stop creating the obstacles between ourselves and the universe,
Yeah.
and we just surrender to the universe carrying us.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm just going to be in the moment with the universe carrying me right now. I have experiences in my life, and sometimes I'm like, why? I stop the question mark and I say, why? The exclamation mark. Then it becomes more less of the questioning the universe, more of the, oh, tell me. You tell me why. You tell me why I'm in connection, why this moment is what it is. And then we welcome this wonderful second inspirational quote: try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you and do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come? Rumi, oh, Rumi, tell me, share, do share, do share.
I feel like when we talk about positive psychology, we talk about happiness studies. I used to have a um, I used to have a gripe about, well, I don't want to talk about happiness. I don't want to focus on happiness. I feel like, to me, it didn't completely or entirely resonate with me until and unless we do not talk about sadness,
Oh,
until and unless we do not talk about brokenness,
yeah,
how damaged we can be through this journey of life. And so many of us are. I think most of us are anyway, in some form. We can't have one without the other.
yeah,
We are beautiful because of the heartaches we have had, the challenges we have overcome, or even the ones that have broken us, you know. But that if we can give ourselves this opportunity to remind ourselves that no matter how broken you're feeling right now and
mm,
how difficult the journey has been, you have a soul tribe. There are people like me, like you. There
mm,
are people like us that said, you know what? Let's look towards a brighter dawn. It's okay. Just like the butterfly, one moment at a time. Let's not try to climb the mountain in one shot. Let's just take one small step. And if that is, sleeping better, eating better,
yeah,
waking up with the sunlight, do one yoga stretch a day, any small baby thing that you can do in your life, know that you're helping yourself along the way, because it's inevitable that we're going to get broken down. It's inevitable that life is going to challenge us, because life wants to see the more empowered version of you. And in order for you to, metamorphose and go from the cocoon to the butterfly, that is a very painful process. It doesn't happen easily.
yeah,
The chrysalis, when it breaks through and it spreads its wings, that must be a birthing, that must be a painful process. So we all go through it, but can will find fellow butterflies in the garden of life
yeah.
that will fly with you, that will fly next to you and give you courage to spread your wings. We're not alone.
I do know that many a stage is going to welcome you to share your light and your message of self-love and tenderness and wake up and dance and just wait, something better maybe to come. Don't hang on to the past so tightly so that you can welcome what is waiting for you. How do you feel about all of that? I feel like we're like with you, you're like right there and you're just like, I get to see and I get to watch you and I get to say, I knew her when, or even, because I know that I see that in you. And it's pretty cool and magical. I love that you said the other gentleman was magical. You're magical. So,
You've said this since we met the first time in Mexico, and I am so grateful for your brilliant light and for your ability to see. Um, I'm just I'm just focused on healing my heart and healing the hearts of those who want to be healed, and maybe together we can heal. Um, I don't bring anything new. I think I'm just holding the torch, and we all are holding the torch. But sometimes our flame is a little weak, and that's okay. We should be able to help light each other's flame. My in infinite desire um, is to just reassure myself that it's okay to feel lost, and it's
Mm,
okay to find your way, and
oh,
that there are ways of finding. And I think technology is so
wow.
incredible. We shut it down so many times, but the truth is it
Yeah.
depends on who you are and what you're seeking, because you will find your people. And one of the most incredible things is that now we can connect with so many people in so many different parts of the world. But all this to say that there is a way to find the road. It is
Right.
There is a way to find the light. And I just want to stand there holding as bright a torch as I can, because I've been very lost myself. And I know darkness very well. And I know a lot of us have encountered, and we know it. But it's okay, it's part of our human journey. If anything, I've learned from Rumi's teachings in Sufism is that yes, we are brilliant, we're beautiful, we're magical beings. And yes, we can be so completely desolate sometimes and so abandoned, even by ourselves. And that's also part of the dance. And the idea is to just accept and
Oh,
embrace and love this sometimes often difficult journey of being human, but also so rewarding at the same
yeah.
time.
I love how you say that it's all a part of this dance. How amazing would it be to show up to dance your dance the way you see when you feel lost and then when you feel joy? And I go back to the theme right now, we're awakening in our creativity. And when we tap into that, that's when we tap into our greatest joy, perhaps our bliss. Is it your intention today? And what page of the Magical Guide to Bliss might it match up with? Because you know how we get kind of magical that way, right?
My intention is to live a life of beauty, of tenderness, of integrity, and to serve through presence.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. So what number would you pick? I'm just
You know, when you were asking me, the number 9 was coming to my mind.
okay. So with all of that wonderful intention, the number 9 is until you breathe your last breath, it's always too early to quit. I love it. Going back to the breath. That's amazing. And you know, I have to say the magical key here is what stands out to me for you, and it's visualize the amazing things you will do in your life. You know, a lot of profound lessons come through in many different ways. And I think that the most extraordinary people, and they say this, are like those heroes that are challenged. Their goddess energy needs to like get kicked in to come alive because of those profound lessons of perhaps failure and then learning and then showing up again and again and again. So I always like to offer to my audience that magic from you that maybe the shift that they need.
You know, hindsight is
Right,
2020.
always.
When you're in it, you're like, am I doing anything right? But I think this is probably trite, but take care of yourself genuinely, especially when you're in the eye of the storm, especially when the world is falling apart around you. Make sure you're getting that sleep. Make sure you're doing the visualization. Make sure you're showing up for your meditation. And if all you do is cry through it, because I've been there,
Yeah.
show up and cry, because that's a huge release as well. And you know, the basic things that contribute to structure, you know, move your body. I mean, I've been a yoga teacher for more than 15 years, and there's a lot of healing that we can do through our bodies.
Yeah.
And I remember in the talk I had a line that said your body is a pharmacy. So
Oh, yeah.
if you put the right things in it, it's going to heal itself, because the body is programmed to heal itself.
Yeah.
It's not programmed to self-destruct. If you get a little cut on your hands, you start to notice how the skin starts to come together and it gets a little stretchy and you get a scab.
Yeah.
I mean, the intelligence of the body is
It's
remarkable.
it's
And it's
amazing.
doing this all without anything that we're doing. We're not
Yeah.
touching it, we're not thinking about it, but the skin is trying to come together, new cells are trying to form, there's going to be scar tissue. The idea is the body is constantly trying to heal itself. So why not support the body?
That's
Do the things that we can do to support it. So I think, and spiritually, I would say I am very partial to journaling.
Oh, yeah.
Rituals.
Ritual.
Rituals are fabulous and important.
Yeah.
A morning meditation, a little journaling, and people ask about prayer, and I love prayer. I love talking to the infinite.
Oh,
Um, and to me, I'm my idea of connecting to source is while I'm making my cup of tea, while I'm watering the plants.
yeah.
I need if I need to have a conversation with God, I'm having it. I'm not waiting to go to a church or
Yeah.
waiting for a special sacred day. Every moment is sacred.
Oh, the moments again. The moments again. How do you continue manifesting the beauty and bliss of your life?
I think making sure that I'm in alignment.
Mm,
And what does that mean, being in alignment? Am I feeling joy
mm,
in my heart for the simple things that I find in my life?
yeah.
Am I able to connect with myself? Am I honest with myself? Am I authentic? If I'm feeling out of sorts, am I pretending and saying, no, no, I'm going to be fine, let's just keep going? Or am I saying, pause,
Yeah.
let's stop, I'm breaking apart, I need a minute? It's
Mm,
not weakness. It takes a lot of courage to meet yourself where you're at.
yeah.
But when you do, that's when you align.
Yeah.
That's when your inner world and your outer world are mirroring each other. Then you are powerful.
Yeah.
And in that moment, when you wish and you dream and you desire and you ask, the molecules around you start shifting,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And also I am a believer of the moon's magic, and new moons are for setting intentions.
Yeah.
It's a powerful time,
Yeah.
and full moons are for seeing the flourishing and letting go. So I do try to live my life according to them. And as women, we naturally attune to the moon cycle. So it's kind of easy to understand that the universe was created to support all the creatures that live in this
Love
universe:
that. Yeah.
plants, the animals, the humans, all of us, the animate, inanimate objects, because
Correct.
they're all created with all the material that exists in the universe. So why not live according to the cycles that are already present, that are there to support you?
Where can people find you? Because I can imagine that this conversation is not the end of the experience with you, Tanya.
I mean, there's SPIRE Yoga. The information is on happinessstudies.academy. I'm also on Instagram, Tania Kazi. I also started a YouTube channel during COVID years, and I've been trying to carry it along. So there's that. It's under my name. I'm on Facebook as well. So
Okay.
yeah, all the social media except for TikTok.
Okay. Well, one more inspiration from you.
Mm. I recently came across, I should have read this ages ago, but I recently came across a saying by Lao Tzu, and it said, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be.
Oh, wow.
It's, it speaks to that part of us I feel it speaks to that part of us that performs in this outward world that we find ourselves in. But when we let go of our ideas and our concepts and our identities,
Yeah.
it's only then that we can truly become what we are meant to be, the way we were meant to show up in this world, in this universe.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. And I think no truer words were spoken. I think that when you put the masks aside and like absolutely allow, it's a whole different experience and it becomes really, truly magical. Just one message for anyone who may be feeling a little lost or broken and don't feel that joy that is waiting for them. What would be something that you could share to inspire them today?
I think I feel that one of the things that's probably saved my soul and continues to is the knowledge that, or is the awareness that it's all this that we are here to do, that we came to do and to be and to experience. All of it is really deeply tied in with love.
Uh-huh.
We came to learn how to love, and we came to learn how to receive love.
Yeah.
And both can be very difficult depending on what our journeys have taught us and what experiences we've had. And it is, and as a student of Sufism, I feel like all of life is this grand master class in how to love yourself, and how to love yourself better and allow others to love you so that you can love them also. And how does that happen? With a lot of forgiveness, with a lot of gratitude, with a lot of tenderness.
Yeah.
There's not enough tenderness. So I feel this is wherever you are in your life, whatever darkness you may be finding yourself in right now, the universe was woven in the fabric of love. The stars that dance and glimmer at night, and that moon that changes these beautiful shapes and is a magnificent sight to behold in all stages, and that glorious sun that wakes us up and is good for our mitochondria and our entire cellular system. It's all magic, it's all beautiful, and it was all created out of the seed of love. So let's not give up on ourselves either. Especially, there are people in different places in their lives. Meg, there's so many people who don't have a support system, support structure. They feel they're all alone. And sometimes I'm like, okay, but the earth is still here, right? Something's still holding us. So maybe that's all we have today, and that's all we can rest in, and we can let it love us.
Oh, I love it. And then we can show up and as whirling dervishes, right? As
We
we,
just dance, as Rumi said, dance when you're in the fire, dance when you've torn the bandage off, dance in the fight, dance in the flames, dance wherever you are, because all of it was here for us to experience life.
oh, wow. I love it. And I just think that that is absolutely perfect to end on today. Tanya, you're absolutely beautiful. This energy of you is just amazing and it shines bright for all to see. And I couldn't be happier to know you and to watch you as you keep dancing in all different circumstances of life. So thank you for being in this moment with me. I do hold it very sacred, and you know how much I love and appreciate you. And to all of you, you know, time to manifest joyfully in that space of love. Let the universe hold you in that earth and get ready to dazzle. I really believe in all of you, and I certainly can't wait to see what you do with this one beautiful life. Thank you so much, Tanya.
Thank you so much for creating this space, Meg, where people can rest their weary bones, where they can find a place of solace and love and comfort. Thank you for empowering people in your gentle and magical way.
Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much.